Hi, my love. So I want to talk to you about something that I'm currently going through as far as my shadow work, and maybe this is something you need to hear as well, or maybe try to put something into perspective. What if in the end you are meant to forgive them? I know I never thought I would say that because I still have this belief. I still do. That hasn't changed. Of you are not obligated to forgive anybody. You know, forgiveness is to forgive somebody. That is a privilege, not a right, especially if someone's betrayed you. You know, the only person that can validate your emotions on how you feel about a certain situation is yourself. You know, and I still believe that. But I have come into this realization about the last couple weeks of maybe you weren't meant to fight them. Maybe you were meant to forgive those people. And I got a road to go. Because I will admit, and this is maybe where my pride and ego's in the way, I'm not a forgiving person. I am not. And it's not necessarily, and this is where I will get to in a minute. This is what I used to think. I don't sit in bitter and anger about it. Once I acknowledge the situation, what kind of person you are, and especially if I know my intentions were pure to you, no, I don't need to forgive you. That was my mindset for a long time, and in a way it still is. But this is where everything flipped. You want to know what flipped for me? I had to talk myself out of this one a couple weeks ago. If you are really in this mind frame that you don't deserve this pain and you didn't deserve what you went through, and granted, that is very validating. You have every right to feel that way. But it's also privilege. To sit on your high horse and say, I didn't deserve to go through that. I shouldn't have to go through that. They're this, they're that, they're this. It's privilege. Whether you want to hear it or not, and I didn't want to hear it. It is privilege. Because I have brought this up on my page, and I will say this again. You need to go through some shit to grow. It's not right. It's not fair. But when it comes to witchcraft, there are no morals. There are none. You need to go through some shit in life to grow. And in my personal case, it is under the hands of a man. Like most of us women, specifically, you know, we've been through, all of us, at some point in our lives, I've been through the ringer when it comes to a man. And unfortunately, I am 28 years old, and I can confidently say I have seen it all when it comes to men. Not just with other women in my personal life. I have seen the ugliness when it comes to men and the way they love and the way they target some things. Granted, I've been through this journey of seeing the red flags, understanding certain signs. But I was in my high horse in 2025 doing the whole, but I had good intentions. You knew what you were doing. Fuck you. And don't get me wrong, that ego did protect me. It protected me for a good 10 months, like it did, because nobody was hurting my feelings. Successfully pushing people away, specifically men, when it comes to the romance part, was successful. Nobody hurt my feelings. Nobody was getting into my head. And a lot of it was I needed to be in isolation, to heal and do some reflection. But I really enjoyed my peace this year. When I tell you not a single musty, crusty man, somebody's awful son was terrorizing me, I was happy of that. And nobody did hurt my feelings. Nobody did. It was a rude wake-up call because, again, this last couple months, I would catch myself saying, I got myself here, and I've done a lot for myself. I've been on my own since I was 18. I have recovered from alcohol. Before I started a platform, I drank very, very heavily. Now I don't even keep liquor in my home at all. I work 2 jobs that I enjoy very, very much. I truly have a beautiful life, and for that I am forever thankful. But my mind has also gotten sharper. I don't put up with shit the way I used to. I'm not as emotional as I used to. I am very logical. I feel like I am smarter when it comes to my intuition. I don't live in a bubble anymore. But where I had to wake up was, hello, How do you think you got here, Samantha? How do you think that you have all this wisdom the way you do? Because of the shitheads that put you through this. Hello? Therefore, you wouldn't have the knowledge you do if it wasn't for the people who have betrayed you. This is not my message of you need to go forgive somebody. I will say I am on a journey. The hardest journey I never thought I would be on is forgiveness. Because thank you, at the end of the day, for putting me through hell. And for my last petty session, I know there is 2 people specifically that watch my page very, very actively. And you know who you are because you have me fucked up. But if you are watching this, thank you. Thank you for putting me through hell. Thank you for putting me through some serious psychological terror, because I will never let someone like you come near me again. And that is the journey of forgiveness I am on. Have I forgiven these people? Yeah, fuck no. I got a ways to go. I will admit it. I've got some ways to go. But in a way, thank you. But the one thing I will learn to express is gratitude. If you didn't put me through all that, I would not have the privilege and the honor to have a platform to teach mainly women every day to never let a pathetic man like whatever you dealt with come near you again. And unfortunately, have I been in, and that's another thing when we choose not to forgive, and that is okay, because I still believe, again, forgiveness is a privilege, not a right. I still believe that. But ask yourself honestly, if you are in this frame of I don't forgive, do you really not forgive that person? Or are you protecting yourself with your ego? And both of those is okay, because I'm currently going through that. So the hard question I had to ask myself is, was I sovereign the way I think I was? I know I don't like that. It's uncomfortable. Have I grown a lot? Have I become tougher? I am a pit bull on a leash. Yes, I will forever be that way. Dark feminine energy saved my life. I will never let those men, and you 2 know who you are, I will never let you come near me again. But I got some reflection to do, and that's okay. I reached out to a good friend of mine. She's one of my mutuals. I'm actually going to tag her because we had a beautiful conversation the other night. And I reached out to her because I hit a deadbolt, I guess. And when it comes to my journey, I'm like, what do? I just kind of left it up to her on what she's got to say. And she asked me, and I've been sitting with this for a few days. She asked me, is it that deep? Simple question. Is it that deep? It's not that deep. And it's not, but for some reason I have made it that deep because I feel like I owe it to myself. And sometimes, baby, that is your ego talking. So instead of hating those people or a certain group of people, say thank you for putting me through hell because of you. I will never have to go through that ever again. And sometimes, again, the hard reality is you need to go through some certain shit in life to grow. And I cannot be in my high horse saying, well, I've done this all on my own, because that's not true. Sometimes it takes the worst people to do that to you. Something to think about.